Hey guys, welcome back to another Dragon Ball Legends episode, and in today's video we are going to be focusing on an equipment guide. I recently had a poll on YouTube to ask the community what sort of video they wanted, and this was the highest result. So yeah, I see that you guys don't know the ins and outs of equipment, and I'm going to help you with that today. So this video is going to focus on what equipment to use, what teams to build, and how to Z plus those equipments, and the emphasis on Z plus, as well as resource investment and resource management. I'm also going to look at the different slots of equipments and what is a good condition for an equipment and what's a bad condition for an equipment. Also, we are going to look at a special tool that allows you to see whether a equipment can be a Z plus or not, as well as information so that you are able to see that just by looking at certain equipment. So without further ado, let's jump straight into that. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to bring to your attention is resource management. Where to find resources for your equipment and how to actually use them and keep them. So you need to go to the upgrade section of your game, and you need to go to these spots here which says battle bonus. Now if you do the red, yellow, purple, green, blue, as well as the Zenkai battle bonus every single day, you are bound to get quite a lot of resources. So all you need to do is you need to click on it, you need to click on the specific one you need. Or what you need to do, like me, just do all of them, and then you basically press this little tick box and then just use your skip tickets to get as much as you can. Now on weekends this actually gives you double, because there's limited amount that you get more of, which is always better to do. Like you can see right now I'm getting limited time rewards, which gives me more. So this is good because I don't have to do as much and you get quite a lot. So do this every day, guys, so just to keep your resources in top shape, so that you know if you are doing an equipment day, just grinding equipment, you at least know you have enough resources so you don't have to come back here. Another section of resources you need would be the most important one, and I think everyone knows the name by now. It's called slot removers. Now slot removers are very important, as you can see right there on top. That is what you need when you are upgrading equipment. It costs anything between 1 to 30 if you're just doing a RNG based equipment, or if you're going to re-upgrade the slot using a secure upgrade. Like for example, if I click on this middle slot here, base health, and I wanted to do a secure upgrade, then you'll see that it costs 5 slot removers normally to do it. And if I was going to do a guaranteed upgrade, it goes all the way up to 30 just for one upgrade. So you know that slot removers are a very important resource. Another important resource is rare medals as well as equipment medals if you are doing guaranteed upgrades. However, if you're not doing guaranteed upgrades, you still need equipment medals, as you can see. And if you are just doing a normal upgrade, that's not a re-upgrading a slot, you'll notice that it's a little bit different. It costs these souls here to upgrade it, and afterwards it's just basically one slot remover every single time. So that's just something you need to keep in mind when you're playing the game. Now, how do you get slot removers? Well, slot removers can come through two ways. The game can give us events to get it, which can be in the form of hoi poi, which normally is something we get and something we are supposed to get on this reset, I believe. So hoi poi gives you slot removers, and you can also get slot removers in the shop. So sometimes in the shops, if you just look, you'll see that they're giving us slot removers here. So you can use your medals that they give you. So this is the Splendid Space-Time Duel for doing PvP. So if you do this enough times, you are able to get any rewards here. So if you wanted slot removers, you just go to it and you do that, and voila, you can get slot removers. So that's one thing. So what I would advise you to do is I would advise you to go to every single shop in the game, see where the slot removers are, and then just use the currency that shop is offering to get slot removers. And this will give you quite a lot over time. As you can see right here, I can get slot removers just like that, and this helps because you always will need slot removers, and the cap for slot removers is now 999, which means you can get quite a lot of slot removers to have and enjoy, and this will make you be better at the game as well, because you get better at resource management. So that's how you do it. The best place for slot removers though is the Zenkai Space-Time Rush. So if you finish this, it's three events. If you finish all 3, you can basically use them to get 5 slot removers per one of these coins, and you get up to 25 of these coins. So if you say 25 times 5, that gives you the total amount of slot removers should be about 250, maybe 500 if my maths is correct. But yeah, you can get the most slot removers from here, and you can do this every 2 to 3 weeks, which gives you a decent amount. So if you're storing your slot removers for an event like the anniversary or for the Legends Festival, then at least you know, hey, I got 1,000 and slot removers, and now I can use it on a certain equipment or on a certain team. Alright guys, so that is the resource management. Now let's move on. So you might be asking, what exactly is equipment? So let me give you a small breakdown. Equipment is basically these things you see here, the gold frames and the silver frames that you can add per character, and you can put up to 3 on every single character in the game. This gives them a boost in their stats. This also allows them to do bonus damage, as well as giving them health restoration. So you could see it as conditions that makes your character stronger, basically. And this goes for every single character. Some characters get their own specific equipment. Some characters have an equipment that needs a specific condition to be met, and some characters get defensive equipment in all general terms because of their support capabilities. Now that's what equipments are, and if you put equipment on a specific team, you can basically synergize that team with the different equipment so that each character in that team is extremely strong and are able to do multiple amounts of damage, because everything in this game is multiplied if you do it correctly. And that is what equipment is. It's basically a multiply of your damage output, a multiply of your health, your defenses. You get the point. So that's what what equipment is. Now you might be asking, how do you know which equipment to select? Very easy, very simple. What you need to do is you need to click on the character that you have in your party. So you go to your party like this. This is a hybrid setup, which is one of the best teams in the game still. So this is the hybrid setup. You go to your party, you click on every single character. So I'm going to do the first 2 just to give you an idea. So for example, you click on Beast Gohan and you click on this little button that says recommended. This will then take you to the recommended section for Beast Gohan. Then you go to equipment, and you'll see it'll show you all the equipment you can put on Beast Gohan to make him stronger. So you'll see this one here. I already have it. I have this one as well, and I have this one here. And now you might be asking, what is that little border? That is called an awakened equipment, which I will explain later on in this video. But for now, what you need to know is where to find the best equipment, and this is how you do it. It says recommended equipment, so any one of these you could use, but obviously you need to use ones that helps your team. So now you might be asking another question, how do you know which ones help your team? Well, you need to look at the stats of the equipment and what it says. So for example, the first equipment that I have here is Piccolo, and you'll notice that I put this equipment on only because of this last section here. Now the last section here reads base strike attack of 12% and pure 12% to strike attack when tag hybrid Saiyan is a battle member. So if I bring in Pan as well as Future Gohan, that is 2 hybrid Saiyans plus Beast Gohan, that makes it 3. So if you take that and you multiply by 12, you get up to 48% in terms of strike damage just for that specific part, plus the 12% to the base strike as well. And that's just on one slot, guys, which is giving Beast Gohan over 50% in terms of strike attack, and that is a lot to have, especially on one equipment. So that's why I'm using it, and this is known as a pure equipment because of the stats here. It doesn't say base, it just gives you the amount or the percentage, and it tells you the condition of how to use that percentage. So that's why I have this equipment, because this equipment works for all of them, because every time I bring a hybrid Saiyan in, I get that boost for Beast Gohan, which is really nice. Then the next equipment here, I'm not going to talk about it right now because it is awakened, and the last one as well, but I do want to show you one thing. Most of the equipment I'm using is basically pure strike attack for this member because it works per hybrid Saiyan battle member, so I'm getting another 24% in terms of strike attack, making him even stronger. So the main idea of this part of the video is to let you know that you need to look for equipment that has a pure strike amount, or an equipment that has a condition that says bring in 3 battle members of this specific tag and you will get this boost, meaning that boost will be multiplied. So that's what you have to do, and I've done this for every character. So you go to recommended, you see what the game is asking you to get, and you'll see that most of the equipment it's asking me I do have. Obviously sometimes you might actually find better equipment just by looking in the stores, which I will explain later as well. So yeah, we've got this cooler equipment here, and you'll see that it's special move damage and strike attack. Now we know that Pan is a support type, so for her to be good we need to also add defenses. So I gave her almost a 35% defense for strike, so which means if someone is hitting her, she can take that damage, as well as she does special move damage. Since she gets a blue card quite often, you need her to hit a little bit hard still, so that's what I gave her. So yeah guys, that's basically how to find the equipment, and just to check the stats on how the equipment complements your team. Okay, let's move on to the next section. Now in this section you need to find out what stats on equipment you need and what stats you don't need. Now if we go to the ones you need, you basically need to find either platinum equipment, which is this border here, and it looks like that. It's like a silver-ish or silver-esque sort of border, which means it's very limited and only for specific characters. Like this one is only for Future Go On, as an example. You also need to look for gold borders, because gold borders are really important, or you need to look for spiked gold borders, which are called awakened equipments, which are also very important. So if we go to this one here, you can see that slot 1 gives you 3 conditions, slot 2 is also 3, and slot 3 gives you a specific condition itself. So what you have to do here is you have to first check what the abilities are. We're getting strike defense, blast defense, and health restoration. All 3 of that on one slot is perfect. Those are all good abilities to have. We're also getting health, strike attack, and blast attack, which is all good abilities to have, and we're also getting inflicted damage. So far, the best ones to have on a character is strike defense, blast defense, health restoration, strike attack, blast attack, and base health, as well as inflicted damage. Also, pure strike attack would also be good here if it was here, like increasing your damage output per hybrid Saiyan member, like here, 8% to strike attack per hybrid Saiyan, 8% to blast attack per hybrid Saiyan. So that is also a good one because it's a pure amount that can be multiplied. So that's also a good equipment to have. Alright, let me just check another one. We also get blast defense. That's also a really good equipment to get, as well as strike defense as well. So those are all the ones you need to look out for when you're playing the game, and each one will tell you what they do. We also get special move damage. That's also a really good one to have, obviously. And I'm also looking for ultimate damage, which is also another one that really works well. I don't think ultimate damage is on any of these equipments. Okay, so ultimate damage is another one, but it's not on this specific equipment here, but I do have one that has it, so give me one moment to find it. Alright, so I did find it. So this is a Gogeta equipment that's currently not available, but it is an awakened equipment, and you can see on slot 1 we're getting special move damage and ultimate damage, and on slot 2 we're getting pure strike, blast attack, and pure strike attack as well. So that's 15%, and as I said, it's multiplied because of the condition. So that's all the different abilities you can get in the game that are all really good for you to have, and I would advise you to get all those abilities on every single equipment that can possibly have that ability. So that's definitely something you can do, and the best way to do it would be to look at your recommended section like I showed you earlier, so you can click on every single equipment and see which ones are giving you multiple abilities like that. Okay guys, now let's move on to the section of equipment you don't need. Alright guys, so I just found one equipment currently that you possibly won't use, and it's this one here. So any ability that has a negative in its slots would not be a good idea, especially if the upgrade, like here for example the base strike attack is 8%, but you're losing 5% in your blast attack. It's not going to help you, even though your strike attack is 8%, because losing any slot or any ability is not a good sign. And that's one that you don't need. So let me go to the next. And another equipment that has an ability you don't need would be this one here, or any equipment for that matter that has something that says base critical. Now base critical is basically something that does crit damage, and that works on certain characters like Ultra Hit as an exception. He's probably the only character that takes advantage of base critical because he does critical damage constantly. Now any other character in the game does not use this, so this would be a waste of time and effort. If you see this, and even if slot 2 and slot 3 are really good, I still wouldn't advise it because you're still losing out on one whole slot. So that's one equipment you don't want. Every single time you see base critical, stay away from that equipment. Okay, let's move on to another one you don't need. Alright, so another one you don't need would be this ability here, which is Vanishing Gauge Recovery. Now you might be saying, why not? That sounds amazing, you can get your Vanishing Gauge faster. Well, in today's current meta, you don't need such a slot because it's taking up space. You could have had damage here of maybe 30% strike or special move damage, or even health restoration, or strike defense, or blast defense, or anything that helps you get stronger or more tanky. But something that makes you vanish basically is a once-off thing. You do it, you're done, and you have to get your Vanishing Gauge back, or you have to switch out. So in order to get this going for yourself, what you need to do is you just need to have a character that has a Vanishing Gauge that restores fast, or you can just switch out your character and vanish like that. It's very simple, and you can do that multiple times in the game, so you don't need a slot taking up that space if you can just vanish on your own and get your gauge back. You will never need this. It's best to have more attack power here or more defense power here to make you either stronger or more defensive, which is always better. So that's definitely another one on my list you don't need. And now let's move on to the last part of abilities that you don't need on equipment, so you can stay away from these 4 taboos. Alright, and the last ability you don't need on any of your slots would be base key recovery, because in this game it's very easy to get your key back. Just by pressing in on the screen you will get your key back, or if you switch out you get your key, so you don't have to do more than that. You can also use main abilities or green cards to get key at any point. So this slot here is not usable at all because of those conditions. It's very simple, and in the current meta most characters can get key just by standing still as well. So yeah, another waste of a slot. You could have special move damage or ultimate damage or anything else in this slot to make it better. So yeah guys, those are the conditions or abilities you don't want on any of your slots. Now let's move on where to find equipment and how to upgrade them. So there are currently 3 places in this game that you can find equipment by. The first section is by the upgrade part, where you can go to equipment collection or ultimate equipment collection. So equipment collection will consist of your gold equipment, so you don't need anything else from this besides your gold equipment. So you'll go to your tag. For example, if you are god key because you pulled ultra rose, you'll go here and you'll basically click on these equipments to see what they give you. And these are the stats that you get. Obviously you're looking for slots that have double stats, like this one has slot 2 with double stats. You're also looking for slots that has pure, that we talked about earlier, so pure percentages. So this one has a pure percentage of 5% to strike defense for each tag guard key battle member, so that's also multiplies. So this is a good equipment because you have a pure percentage on slot 3 and you have 2 percentages on slot 2, which is amazing. Slot 1 is also more defensive, so this is a tanky sort of equipment. You can also click on the last one and check if it gives you anything else. You get special move damage of 13%, but if you are experienced in the game, you know you can get higher special move damages if you have awakened equipments or even platinum equipments. So maybe this one you won't take. But this is exactly a place you can get equipment by. The other section of getting equipment would be very similar to this, and this would be up here, which is ultimate equipment collection. It's exactly the same thing. The only difference here is you're getting top tier unique equipment, meaning that this is the best equipment for that specific tag. So this is for god key, and if you hover on this you'll see that slot 1 has 2 abilities and they're both very good abilities. We're getting special move damage, we're getting ultimate damage on one slot, and that's 10% each. Then you're also getting base strike attack of 12% as well as pure strike attack of 12%, which is multiplied. And slot 3 is exactly the same thing, which makes this equipment really good. Alright, let's move on to the next section of equipment, of where to find them. Alright, so another section for you to get equipment by would be to go to the exchange shop, and what you can do here is you can go to the hyperdimensional co-op, and if you go to a specific section like here, you can basically use these medals from the co-op, and you can get platinum equipment here as well. That is also increasing your stats, but obviously it is not double on each slot here, so I wouldn't recommend it. But I did see that the last slot and the second slot go up to 30%, which is something you can take into consideration if you are trying to make a tanky build. So that's another equipment, and yeah, there's quite a lot here to go through as well. Okay, and another section would be through the permanent section here. If you go down here, you can either go through Z medals or Z medals, and if you click on them, you go to other, you get more equipment here, and it's exactly the same thing. And another section as well would be the equipment medal store, where you can click on equipment here, and it will give you all the equipments for every single tag in the game. You just have to go through them. You can also go here and get the platinum tier equipment per specific Legends Limited unit. So for example, this one will be for Goku specifically, and yeah, you can see that it gives you damage to Lineage of Evil, pure damage to Lineage of Evil actually, which is really good. You get base strike attack and health, which is really nice. So yeah guys, that's where you can find your equipment. Okay, so now that you know that, the only other thing left for you now is to basically know how to use or how to find a specific equipment that we talked about earlier. So I'll show you that right now. Alright, so let's just say this is your current team that you're using, for example, and you want equipment for this specific Broly, right? So we'll do the same thing. You'll go to recommended as I showed you earlier. You go to equipment, and let's say you're looking for this equipment here, right? Confidence Smile, it's called. and you really want it, but you can't seem to find it by just going through the shops. The best way for you to do it is just to click on find item. Very simple. It takes you exactly to where the item is. All you have to do is you need to exchange that specific resource for that item, and voila, you'll get that specific item immediately in your equipment box. And yeah guys, that's exactly it. And you can do this for any equipment. You just click on it. It says Awakened Historic Showdown. Obviously this one is no longer available in the game, but it will still show you where exactly you can normally get it by. So it says cannot acquire item at this time, but if you could acquire it, it will tell you here and you'll be able to click on it. You can do it with any item in the game. It tells you how to get. You just click on the button and it immediately takes you to that specific item, and voila, you can use your skip tickets and get enough copies of that item as you need. So yeah guys, very simple, very simple. So if you are making a god key team with Ultra Rose, something like this, I just don't have Ultra Rose. Let's just say this was Ultra Rose. You just go to recommended equipment. Let's say you wanted this Gogeta equipment. You say find item and it tells you exactly where you can find it. And if you wanted the scythe equipment here, find item, tells you exactly where to find it. So yeah guys, very simple. And some items you don't own, you can do the same thing. It tells you exactly where you can find that item. So you can go to the equipment medal, you can get the specific item, and then you can go to the Zenkai Ultra Space-Time Rush and use these medals to awaken that specific item. So yeah guys, that's how to get the best equipment for your team. Currently the best teams in the game is God Key, so this is something you would want to look at when making a team. I'm not going to show you my equipment for these teams because I feel like it's better for you to go to recommended section, look at all the equipments you can see on that specific tag, and choose the ones that you feel are best. That's what I would do. Obviously anything that has a platinum tier is top tier equipment like this, and obviously it means that it has good stats like special move damage, health, more strike defense. So anything like that does help you. Anything that gives you strike attack in terms of pure strike, like I showed you earlier with the percentages, or ultimate damage or special move damage, are definitely equipments you want to add. So take that into consideration. So this is one team you can definitely look at in terms of equipment, and this is what I currently have for this team. So you can do something like that for the equipment, but that's just normal. Now if we go to awaken equipment, it does change. So let me just explain that right now, and after that I will explain the different slots that you get on equipment. Alright, so let's talk about upgrading equipment. So what you need to do is you need to go to the equipment section of the game, which is basically by characters. You go to equipment, which everyone should know, I hope, and then you just have to press upgrade all basically. Now in most cases I would not upgrade anything that only has a green slot, but I just wanted to show you what the upgrade process looks like. So you press that and it automatically upgrades the equipment to the next slot, and then you can do that up to 3 times, and that does take Zenny and resources as well. Now what I said about slots are very important. So when you are upgrading equipment, you need to have the first slot on gold or red so that you can guarantee a Z plus equipment. If the first slot is not gold or red, it's very unlikely that you're going to get a Z plus equipment. So for example, these 3 equipments right here, we have a red slot and 2 gold slots. Now you might be asking, what does that mean? Well, if you hover onto the equipment, you'll see that the first slot is gold. So if you go to slot 1, you'll see that the total percentage is 15%, and we're currently on 14%, which tells me it's very close to the highest percentage, meaning this slot would be gold. So that tells you that this equipment can go up to Z plus just because the first slot is gold, or if the first slot is red, which is even better. Now a red slot would be the closest you can ever get a slot to be on its highest maximum amount, and if the first slot is on that, it means that this equipment is extremely strong. So this is 14.9 and the highest it can go is 15. So it's a 0.1% difference to get you to 15%, meaning that this can become a Z plus as well. Now this is very important because the first slot you cannot control in the game. The game is RNG based for the first slot, so you have to basically use your skip tickets until you get this slot to basically become a red or gold. If it is red or gold, the slots do jump from C to B and sometimes to S even. So we might get an S here, we might get an A, depending on what the game gives us. And as you can see, we got an S on one of the equipments that I don't really care about. But yeah guys, the slots are very important. Now that you have your slots upgraded, you can basically re-upgrade the other 2 slots to get them to a Z+. So we're going to try that right now. So we'll click on this slot here. Let's just go to the re-upgrade slots, and we're going to try to use the same one we just got now. Alright, so we're going to try to upgrade this now. So we want to get more damage to hybrid Saiyans. So the first thing you need to do is you need to choose which one to stop on. I would recommend trying to stop on orange because the game is very orangey based when you do this, and getting a red is extremely difficult and a waste of slot removers. So you'll go up to 30 and you'll press re-upgrade, and orangey will basically take over to give you a better slot. Sometimes it works immediately, sometimes you won't get this right. However, if this does work immediately and the slot does get upgraded to gold, you are done basically, and you don't have to do this process again. You just need to do a secure upgrade after that. However, if you do use 30 slot removers and you see that the slot has still not upgraded, what you have to do then is you have to go to guaranteed upgrades and rather do guaranteed upgrades, because then you are wasting slot removers. So it's best for you to rather just do a guaranteed upgrade a few times to get the slot to the color you want it to be. So as you can see, this part is extremely RNG based. I've already used 10 slot removers and nothing has happened yet. So this does take time and is basically dependent on your slot removers. So the more slot removers you have, the more times you can do this. And you have to be very aware that slot removers are a finite resource. If there are no events in the game and your ultra space-time rush is done, you won't be able to upgrade your equipment. So you need to be very smart on how much slot removers you're going to use daily on your equipment or monthly on your equipment, depending on when you do equipment. Now, I would recommend doing equipment when we have an equipment bonanza, because this does allow you to get better slots because of the bonus, and that does happen sometimes. So whenever there is an equipment bonanza, I will let you guys know in the community so you can take advantage of that and get better slots. Currently we don't have a bonanza, that's why I'm not getting as what I want. So I used almost 25 slot removers, guys, and I'm still not getting a gold slot. So at this point of, oh, we just got one now. Okay, that works. But yeah, it took 25 slot removers to get a gold slot. Now let's say I didn't get one. I would have ended it and I would have clicked on it again, and what I would have done is I would have went to secure upgrade and then just click on this button here, or the stick box, to perform a guaranteed upgrade, which does take 30 slot removers, 100 rare medals, some resources, and 50 equipment medals. So you need to make sure you have these resources available to you, and you basically click guaranteed upgrade, which means it will guarantee an upgrade for you. No matter what, it will go up, and as soon as it upgrades, you'll see that the percentage went to 14, and I can do that again and again until I'm out of resources. So I will do it again for the video just to show you guys how this works. It went to 14.5, which is amazing. Now I don't think I can do it again. Well, I can do it one more time. Hopefully this goes to 14.8, which is quite high, very close to the highest percentage, and you see now it's 2 red slots. So you might be asking, why did it not upgrade to a S, Z or A yet? Well, the reason is because slot 2 is still on 5%, and slot 2 can go up by quite a margin. So if you go to slot 2, you can go all the way up to 12%. The moment I upgrade slot 2, I will get an S, a Z or a Z plus, depending on what happens, and I only have 4 slot removers left, so I'll just use them just to see if we can get an S. And we got an S off the bat, and then if you go again, it might go back to an A, or it will upgrade depending. It went to a Z, guys, and that's good enough for me. So yeah, it's already on Z. Now if I want to get a Z plus, all I have to do now is basically the same thing. I did my RNG based upgrade. Now I need to go to secure upgrade and basically just click on that, and I can guarantee me a Z plus just by using these resources when I have time to do them. So that's how you upgrade your equipment, guys. Very important. And now let's move on to awakening equipment. Alright, so awakened equipment, the best equipment in the game by far, because they have the most stats, the best stats, and they work the best in terms of synergy. So if you go to this little button and says equipment awakening, you basically get all the equipments in the game that can be awakened. So for example, if you wanted this rose equipment here, all you have to do is you select it, you click how to get, it tells you where to get the memory for this equipment, which is the Zenkai Ultra Space Time Rush. So basically you select it. If you did have it, then it would work. Then what you need to do is you need to make sure you have these fragments, and you can get these fragments as well. Just need to click on how to get, and if you scroll down, it shows you where to get these fragments. You can get these fragments currently from this legendary luxury campaign. If you're watching this video in the future, that might not be available. You can also get it from the exchange shop, fragment exchange shop, but these fragment exchange medals only come through sometimes. So if it's like a anniversary event or a 70 million campaign or a hoi poi or a legends festival, you'll get these fragment exchange medals. But if you don't have those, then you need to use whatever other resource the game gives you. So currently at the moment, it's only from the spring medals and the fragment exchange medals. So that's how you get your fragments, and that goes for everything. Now if you want to get the equipment itself before it's awakened, you go to the equipment medal store here, like it says, and you basically exchange your medals for that equipment. Once you have that, you just need to go to the Ultra Zenkai Space Time Rush and get the memory using your rush medals, and you'll basically be able to press this button auto select and be able to awaken the equipment. But since I don't have it, I won't be able to use that one, so let's use a different equipment then. Let's say I wanted to awaken this equipment here. It's the same thing. You press auto select, it basically ticks off the two equipments that you need, and it gives you the selected equipments that is going to be used to awaken this, and it also uses the fragments like we spoke about. All you have to do then is press confirm, and you want the first slot to be gold or red. So you will do this until that first slot is gold or red. If it is gold or red, you can stop. If it's not gold or red but it's close to being gold, you can still use it. So for example, you'll do this a few times to see what you can get. I don't have any more, but let's just check that one equipment that we just got. So let's see how close it is. What we'll do is we'll upgrade it to the highest potential, and then we'll see what slot 1 or how close slot 1 is to being used, because if it is very close to being gold or red, we can still use it and potentially get a Z instead of a Z plus, which is still good enough. So if you hold onto this equipment, it tells you that strike attack is 9.9, special move is 9.7. This goes up to 12. So it's about a 2% difference in order of it being maxed out, which is not too bad. So this equipment could be used for GT. You're also getting ultimate damage, which you can upgrade, and strike attack, as well as some health. So this is definitely a good equipment, so I will keep it by making it a favorite, even though the first slot is not red or gold. So sometimes you need to be smart about your awakened equipments. Will you want a gold or red slot? 100%. But are you willing to use thousands of resources to get it to a gold or red? Because awakened equipments do take the most resources and is also very, very strenuous on the game itself. So yeah guys, that is awakened equipments in a nutshell, and you will definitely need to check which equipments are awakened. So the best advice I can give you is, when you are making a team, first go to the awakened equipment section to see if that team you're making has a awakened equipment that you can use. So for example, this can be used on Goku Black, so you know currently he's the best unit in the game, and you see that slot 3 is giving you 3 conditions or 3 abilities, which is amazing. You're getting strike attack twice of really high percentages, which is amazing. So you definitely want this equipment, so you need to start grinding the Zenkai Ultra Space Time Rush to get the memories. And that's how the game works, guys. And if you want to see afterwards how to get, besides the memory, how to get the specific equipment, then you need to click on the awakened equipment, and then here at the bottom it tells you what shop has that equipment, so you can have enough of it to upgrade. Once you have enough of it, you just need to upgrade it to A or S. So I'll click on it again just to show you the condition. So you'll notice that this equipment does have a condition. It basically wants this equipment here, but it wants this equipment to be an A. So you need to upgrade it first before you can sacrifice it to the awakened section. So yeah guys, that's awakened equipment in a nutshell as well. And finally, I'm going to show you the teams that currently are the best in the game. So for this section here, what you need to do is, if you're wanting to make a really good team and you're not sure how to have a synergized team, what you can do is you can go to your rating match section of PvP. So that's basically clicking on PvP, and it loads the rating match section. Then you need to click on ranking over here, and this will take you to the top rankers in the world. However, I would not concentrate on these guys here, because most of them here are cheaters. Well, not all of them, but some of them. And for example, this guy might have a good team. Let's just double check. So yeah, this is a good team. So what you do is you click on one of the top rank teams in the game, or top rank players. You see what sort of team they're using. And what you can also do is you can click on this button that says check equipment. So you can see what equipment these guys are using. And as you can see, they're using really good equipment. So now you know how to build a team by using this. All you need to do now is take a screenshot of this and build your team around this if you're using something like this. This is a God Key Future-esque build, so this is something you can use if you want to use God Key. Very simple, guys. I did show you how to do equipment and how to upgrade them and how to check for slots. So very simple. If you want to use this team as well, it's the same thing. You just see what equipment he has for Hit, for Rosé, for Whis, and yeah, you get the idea. So you can do this for any person in the game. If you want hybrid Saiyans, you don't know what to put on Beast Gohan, and YouTubers are confusing you, just go here, check equipment, you see what he has for Beast Gohan. Sometimes his equipment will be different, so what you need to do is you need to check multiple Beast Gohan accounts to see which one has the best equipment. So Prof Sen is quite a famous guy, and he always has really good equipment. This is also another meta team. So you'll see that for Gogeta he has these equipments here. He never put any of the platinum equipments, maybe he doesn't have them, so that's what he used. This is what he used for Gohan, which is amazing. And yeah, this is what he used for Pan. So guys, that's how you check if you want to have a better idea of what equipments to use for which unit in the game. And it's quite a long list here. You can also go to your rank and you'll see people that's close to your level, and you can even copy their equipment as well, because everyone uses the same equipment in the game, because they all have the same abilities. The only difference is will be a 0% here and there if some people have Z plus or if you have Z. Now, where do you check to confirm if a equipment can be Z plus? Let me show you. Alright, so we're on this website called DBZ Space. This is where you can check equipment out in terms of if they can become Z plus. So all you need to do is you need to go to items on here and get rid of the ads, and then you need to click on equipment basically. So if you're busy with a specific equipment for a specific tag, let's say you were busy with a guard key tag, right, and you were looking at unique equipments, which are these ones here, and maybe you selected this one, and now you wanted to know if the first slot on your equipment, let's say your first slot was not a gold or red slot, but it was maybe green, and let's say it was like a 6%, right, but you maxed out slot 2 and you maxed out slot 3, and you want to know if this equipment can be a Z plus. This tool will tell you the highest it can go. So this one can go up to S because your first slot was green. But let's say your first slot wasn't green and it was maybe gold, right? Then this equipment will become a Z plus, basically. Or if this wasn't gold and maybe it was still green but it was very close to being gold, then it will be a Z. So it all depends on your first slot, guys. If your first slot is gold, 100% of the times your equipment would be Z plus, depending if you max out slot 2 or slot 3, which has to be maxed out in most cases. If your slot is red, then yes, 100% it's going to be Z plus, even if this one is a bit off, as you can see. So yeah guys, this tool does help quite a lot. I will have a description of it in the description of this video as well. Alright, let's go on to the game again. So to summarize, I have shown you where to find equipment. I have shown you what abilities of equipment are good, what abilities are bad. I've shown you how to awaken equipment. I've shown you where to find the resources for equipment. I've shown you how to see the recommended equipment and how to find equipment in the game by using the how to get button. And I've shown you what teams to use by going to PvP and selecting one of the top ranked players and seeing what equipment they used and what teams they are currently using in the game, guys. So that is the equipment guide in a nutshell. I hope this does help everyone, and I hope that I've made some sort of impact in your life with this video. It is 40 minutes long, one of the longest videos I have ever made. So please let me know, please criticize this and let me know if this does help you in any way possible. As always, thank you so much for watching, and if you do like this sort of content, please do leave a like, subscribe and follow, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Cheers.